January 28, 2013 will now come to order. Public notice. Sunshine Law announcement. Notice of this meeting has been published in the Burlington County Times, and public notice is posted at Burlington City Hall, 525 High Street, and at the Keegan Recreation Center, 522 Wood Street, Burlington, New Jersey, as required by law. Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Alrighty. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jim?
Lord God, we're grateful for your many blessings, and we thank you for the opportunity to give back to our community, Father. Help us to think this evening. Guide us on our quest to develop the island, Lord God. And we ask you for safety and health for the troops. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. Amen.
We're on, right? Okay. Got to do a roll call.
Roll call. Jim Cipriano.
Here.
Joe Bate.
Here.
Manager Crusoe.
Here.
Mary Work. Here. Murray Sensen.
Here.
And Tony
Nafara
has been excused. Okay. Do I have a motion for an adjournment time?
Motion for 9 o'clock.
Second?
Second.
On the question?
Yeah, Madam President, I'd suggest that we try and make it for 9:30. We can always adjourn earlier if necessary.
I'll amend the motion.
Okay.
Amend the second.
Alrighty. Anything else on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 9:30 it is. Okay, Mary Ann sent out some sets of minutes, one of which goes back to October 25th that people keep saying they didn't get, and I just received about my fourth set of them. So these went out, oh god, it has to be a week ago. So do I have a motion to approve them?
Motion to approve.
Second? Is there a second to approve the minutes?
Second.
On the question?
On the question, Madam President, are you approving in this motion both sets of minutes or just one?
No, this is October 25th.
Just the October 25th
Yes.
set of minutes.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of approving October 25th minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. The next set of minutes we were sent are from December 13th, 2012. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
On the question? All in favor of approving December 13th?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, December 13th approved. Now there's one other set that we don't have yet. Tony's got those, so we'll approve those at the next meeting.
What meeting date is that?
It would have been for January 20, whatever, 28th or 26th or something. Okay. And we have two financial reports here. Oh, just one?
Yeah, the other one was
So we have the treasurer's report from January 2013. Do I have a motion to approve?
So motion?
Second? Is there a second to approve?
Second.
On the question?
On the question, Madam President, I see a bill to our attorney for $671.50. Do we have a copy of that bill?
No.
Okay, that was the last month's copy? Maybe it's a question for the president or the treasurer. Are there any other outstanding bills for the attorney?
One that we just got, but we haven't had a chance to copy them yet. One for us, for,
copy?
he wouldn't have a copy of this. This is for the board for 136, and then we have one for woman coming forward for 1230.
Madam President, I'm sorry, I'm confused. What are the amounts on this? I can take a look. Okay, never mind, thank you.
And they're the only two outstanding bills, period, or just lawyer?
Lawyer fees.
If I'm correct, Madam President, most of these bills, 1, 2, 3, 4 on here are regarding telephone conferences with you.
That is correct. Ron hasn't been to a meeting in a few months.
I'm looking at an email about information for election deadlines and compliances, including research. Well, we had a book prepared for that several years ago with all those deadlines in there. That was one of the goals that we had, so that
We
could...
have the book, but we always run it by Ron before we send it out.
With all due respect, you're going to have to make decisions soon on your own because you don't have any money. So I don't know who you're going to call when you're out of money, but you're going to have to be comfortable with making business decisions based on the information that was previously ran by the attorney and established in the book, which was the conference of doing that.
Oh, Mary Ann tells me that was not in the book, the matter that was about.
The dates, how many days prior to the election?
Yeah, it follows the school board, but
Yeah,
I have no
we
idea.
had at least 2 elections that were ran improperly due to timings, and we made a very strong effort to make sure that we would not have those errors, and we put that information in the book. I would hope that we can, if you spend the money, you got to pay the man, but I thought we had made an agreement not to call the attorney too much and to limit that.
I have limited it.
Well, with all due respect, Madam President, you want to be forced to limit it a whole lot because you're out of money. So I don't know who you're going to call. I know that you want to get the right answers, and I believe those answers are in the book.
What Mary Ann needed was not in the book.
Madam President?
Yes.
Just in response to Joe, I understand your statement, and I understand that we're low on the book. We've had a couple mistakes in the past years, and it cost us, thousands of dollars. This is $100 and some odd dollars. It wasn't just for the election, so I think it's rather penny wise and dollar foolish, or whatever you want to call it. So, we understand, and I understand your statement.
Madam President?
As we all do. Yes, Jim.
I would like to assure that going forward, that this election process book has all the information in it necessary so that we have to limit our time and cost regarding speaking with our solicitor. If I remember,
I'm sorry.
if I I remember correctly, when manager Cruz Napralo put the election together last year, she was pretty confident that she had all her ducks in a row and everything ran pretty smoothly. So if that's the case, all I'm saying is for future boards, it would really behoove us to make sure that that's in order and we limit our time speaking to our solicitor. That's all. Thank you.
May I speak?
Yes, you
May
may.
I see that for a minute?
The book had some deadlines in it, some days counted, but there were things that came up that I did not know how many days, but the book is extremely well put together. So I want that on the record.
May I ask you, what was the question? That wasn't in the book, what was the question?
I don't remember, it was something about the timing between one thing and another, a certain one.
Publishing some of the ad maybe.
Yeah, and we officially, which I will put in the one that I do, we officially follow the school board rules of how many days are in between things, school elections.
If I read this right, by the way, Joe, if you break it down, I think about $75 of this went for the election.
Which is a lot better than the couple thousand it cost us a couple years in a row because it wasn't done properly.
I remember that vividly,
So,
that it wasn't
we
done
are all
properly.
aware of our financial...
One of the reasons it wasn't done properly is because people didn't listen to what others are telling them. I got one more meeting, so I'm out of here, as they say.
Okay.
But, what you might want to think about is reaching out to senior managers through years of experience that might have the opportunity to give you that answer for free. That just comes with experience. That's life. One of the things I would have said, Marion, if you had called me, is look in the book from past year and see the timeline that it was between the last year's publications, and you might have had the answers to the question. But more importantly, have we paid these bills already, the $671?
Yeah.
They're already paid.
That's on the treasurer's report.
We
It's
approved
paid.
those
That's paid
last month.
before. Okay. So at this point, we just have to pay the bill that's being presented? Tonight?
That's the only thing that's
Okay.
open.
Thank you.
Now, since everyone does not have a copy of this bill, but everyone has seen it, what's your pleasure? Do you want to approve it tonight?
We're on the treasurer's report right now.
That's true, we
That
are.
has to be voted on before we go any
You're
further.
right.
Motion was
Okay.
made and seconded. That was
All right,
your
is there
question.
anything?
That was on the question.
It was, the motion was made, seconded. Is there anything else on the question? All in favor of approving the treasurer's report? Opposed?
You have a copy of that bill?
Treasurer, yes, I'll get you a copy.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report is approved.
Madam President, before we leave the treasurer's bill, with regard to the attorney, I remember having a conversation with Mr. Eustace, and he indicated he did not want to email the bills, his invoices, to the board. But I believe we had some conversation where once the board received the invoices, they would be scanned and emailed so the managers could have them in advance.
The next president can do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. Mr. Eustace, organization has a reason for not sending them out by email. If I email these out, then anybody can email them to anyone out in the street. And we know a lot of correspondence has gotten out there, so I'm just not comfortable doing that. But, the next president, may feel fine doing that.
Okay.
But I'll have copies made tomorrow, and I will, if you want, I'll mail them to you.
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
It's just going to cost more money.
But no, you know what, Joe? I have spent a couple $100s in postage in the last couple of years, and I have not charged the board for a stamp or any of the stationery that I've used. In fact, I even bought the board a return address stamp at my own expense, so I'm not concerned about that. Okay, correspondence. We have quite a bit. Help me out here if you can. There is I thought that all of our insurance was over with. And we have a renewal premium notice, conditional renewal notice from Utica National Insurance Group. And it appears that it commercial crime coverage, discovery form, loss sustained form, discovery form, loss sustained form. This doesn't
You
look,
sure that's not a proposal?
this doesn't look, it looks like a renewal form. I just looked at it for the first time, so I may be mistaken here.
Did it come from our broker, Madam President?
It came from the company itself, Utica National Insurance. Is that something, I don't remember that policy.
No, it looks like they're trying to change.
Does that look
230
familiar?
High Street, that's Haynes and Haynes' address?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. But, didn't we pay that bill?
It's not the same policy
No,
number.
it's different. It's a different policy.
We never had
number.
another policy from them other than the policy we paid, so.
Is there a date that it was issued?
Yeah.
Kind of policy bond. This might be policy effective date 4/1/2. It says policy effective date 4/1/2013. So I would assume that it would be running out on 4/1/2012.
Does this sound familiar to you, Jim?
No, we never had anything like this. This may be a
I don't
mistake.
remember this one.
Might be for the city.
It might be.
You're gonna have to
Oh,
call Haynes and Haynes.
all right. All right.
We never had any,
You're right. It might be
kind of
for the
crime
city.
that happened, yeah. It
Might be for the city, and the reason I'm saying that is because we also have a third bill from the Trenton Times for $6, and again, yes, for $6.38 or something, and it's for, it doesn't say the city, it says the Board of Island Managers. I have already called 3 times on this. 3 times I was told they would fix it, and now we have another bill. So, we may have to deal with this in writing. And I'll CC the mayor. I will,
$6 they're gonna spend.
I mean, they're spending more than $6.38, you know, on the stationery and postage. But it's obviously for an ad for the city ramp. Okay. We have invoice and statement of account from the Burlington County Times. And this has to do with the election. And it is for, oh, this is the meeting schedule, I'm sorry. This is for $38 even.
For the year.
Yeah.
Madam President, we just received that invoice.
Yeah, let's see, when was it postmarked? It was postmarked, well, February 2nd.
What was the amount?
$38 even.
That's for election advertisements.
No, I'm sorry, I was mistaken. It's for the meeting schedule.
Okay.
And that is only till April, or is that for an entire
No, this is for
year?
calendar year. This is the meeting schedule for 2013.
To the end of the year, to December.
Yeah. So, do I have a motion to pay this?
Motion to pay.
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Okay, on the question,
Is that the only
does
bill?
anybody want to see this?
Are there any other bills? Because we could have made a motion to pay them all. This is the only bill we got.
That's the only other one besides Ron's.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Did we get a second or no?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
second.
On the question, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay, we'll pay that. The other thing is, I just got a thank you note from J.D. Marino. If you recall, he's the man who handled this lawsuit for us from Getty Images. And basically, I sent him a letter thanking him, and I sent him a gift certificate for a restaurant in the area, but I did not charge the board. But I'm sure he did a lot of work on that, and he handled it for nothing for us. Okay.
Madam President, done with correspondence?
I think so. Is there, well, I was gonna ask if anybody else had any.
I didn't get any correspondence, and I see our next thing is the public portion. I was hoping before we can do that, we have a visitor here that was requested by Tony in the minutes of the last meeting. Fortunately, Tony's not here, and I don't think it'll take a lot of time, and I'd like to ask the board's permission to get into showing the board what's been done over several months for storage of the board's records.
Okay.
Joe?
Is this going to be anything that is there going to be any discussion of specific records?
No.
Because that cannot be done in open session.
No.
Okay.
And if the board will allow me, Courtney is here, and I think if you want, Courtney, you can probably take that desk. If the managers want to go there and see what you're doing on that. You have power there, or?
Yeah, it's
I thought the desk was you need power, but yeah, we can get around there. Yeah, that would be good. Courtney also has the distinction of being a recipient many years ago of assistance from the board that enabled her to go to the United Nations building, thanks to the support of island managers. So after so many years, these things come back, and you need people that's happened to. I'm going to step down there and invite the other managers if they want, because this is months of work, and someone needs to know how this works. And it is, Courtney, it's all on the flash drive, correct?
Yes.
And what we found in the records over there is a lot of very, very interesting information. And I'm happy that we're able to store that on something as small as a flash drive now.
It's modern technology,
And,
man.
well, should something happen to these files or whatever, and we also have a second flash drive, so it's backing up all the work that we've been doing there.
Courtney, are those documents searchable?
Yes, if I can get into my mom's computer.
We've got many, many years,
Oh, here we go.
on that.
Yeah, I've done like from 1940 to like current.
Now, is there an index on here? Or is it just one
Yeah,
file
well,
after
it
another?
goes by year, then by month. And there's also a separate folder for just election stuff that's also
All right, but
included
there's
in the
not a
years.
topic, there's not a topic.
Every
index.
file is dated. I don't, it's only password in the car right now, it's not working. Yeah, every file is dated and named, but I'm gonna have to call her because the password she told me is not working.
You can't open the files?
Can't get into the computer.
This is a demonstration of our
So
security.
it's,
We have there.
okay, so they're all listed by year and date,
Yes.
and,
On the flash drive, each file goes by year and then by feet.
And then it's broken down again into
If there's a lot of
subjects.
files for 1 year, then it goes by month. And then in the month, you can have the exact date and the title of
of the file. Oh, okay, good. That's
Yeah, it's
simple.
all like letters and invoices and minutes from meetings.
Okay.
And those are separated?
Yeah, everything's named and dated.
Marie Lawler's files for certain
Are
years
expensive.
were very good. And now we've got a copy of all those.
Hi, what's your password?
Here. So
Joe?
you have to worry. Yes.
It's not working.
These were scanned.
BITG.
Yes. Yes.
And that's it.
Is it lowercase or something?
It says capital. It's definitely not working. Positive, that's it. Saying the username and password is incorrect.
Caps lock's on.
Do we have a hacker in the audience?
Check the cap lock button.
Anybody got a computer?
It's okay.
No. Check the caps.
It's okay.
All right, I'm going to turn it on again.
That's okay.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry.
That's okay, but we really
I didn't have my
appreciate.
laptop with me.
appreciate all the work you did.
Yes.
And this is wonderful to have that many files.
That one's the cities.
That's the cities, no, we can't get in there. But this is fine, we know what's on there, and it looks like it's gonna be easy to find everything, so.
Can you drill it down a little
Thank you
bit?
so much.
It's,
There's a USB port here.
is there, if the computer's on, I can just. I just thought it was within that.
Yeah, but do you need a password to get into that?
Yeah, so, yeah, okay, here we go. So it goes from 1929 all the way to like the 2000, and then the later ones have more files in them, so.
Great.
Oh, so you go to the year, open it up, and you go to forward
Yeah,
specific
there's
deal.
only one thing from the 1947, I think 88 and 89 have been fun files.
Some of the stories that are in here.
Is there any kind of cross-reference? For example, if you know what subject you're looking for, but you're not sure what year it was.
I think if you go to, like, if you go, it's that way it goes, computer files, like, if it's Microsoft, if you go to, like up here, you can search.
Okay.
So if you, like, if you search for, like you said,
Okay,
for
yeah,
just like
keywords and
judging,
stuff.
like,
Okay,
I know
great.
it does it on my computer, I'm not sure if it does it in all of them. But, if you go back to the flash drive,
Just don't do anything that seems
go back
base.
again.
Yeah.
Back. Yeah, like if you go down to 88, I know that 88 there was a ton of stuff in there. I remember that was like one of my business school days. So like if you go on 88, that one, but like there's the charter revision of 1988, that was a big file, and each file is multiple pages, it's separate, it's not like scanned in as one page. So this is like 18 pages.
If you scanned this and you saved it, you put in this information.
Yes.
There's
Yeah, I named everything and tried to get like an idea of what it was about.
Click it.
When you go in here, like, I can go on my computer and hit alphabetical,
Mhm.
and it'll break it down. If I go.
Yeah, I mean, up
That
at
way
the
I
top.
can pick up the copies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
See, it's like,
Okay.
cool, excellent.
Thank you so much.
no problem.
That's fascinating.
I've
very
got
much.
some more years to do.
Oh, she got more.
Yeah, like the more current years have more in folders,
Okay.
and then that's just the
Do you
last.
still have room on that flash
What-
drive, or do you
what-
need
Yeah, I
another
think
one?
there's still plenty.
What year did
Okay.
that go up to now?
1929.
No.
To 19.
To,
19,
She said
like
she had
2005, I think. I'm working on the newer years, but like
Okay.
1929 to 2005, I think is the last year I did. The last year I finished, and then there's stuff for elections that goes from like all over. There's just a specific folder that had election stuff in it, so I kept that together.
Okay.
Very cool.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. We have come to the public portion. And anyone, I'm sorry, anyone out here who has something they'd like to say, about, yeah, I know, well, I was supposed to have one. Miscommunication. We'll have 5 minutes to say it in. And just to clarify something, the public portion is a time when people in the public can come up and tell us what's on their minds. It is not an open discussion forum. Some presidents, probably most presidents, have chosen to have it be an open discussion forum, but, you know, just as they elected to do that, any other president has the ability to choose not to. So, having an open discussion, a give and take, is not part of the rules. So, having
Mike Zaylot, 506 Locust Avenue, Burlington. First of all, on behalf of the public, thank Courtney for that job that she's done. We have on on CD as part of our records from 1852 to 1909, so that completes it up to 2005, which is excellent.
I'm
For
sorry, you have
to
1929?
1909.
Okay, so we're
Okay,
just
that
about
was
20
that was
years.
in the book that's
Okay.
no longer with us, that was gone somewhere. Also, at this point, I don't know what the next meeting is going to be like, but I'd like to take this time, and again, as a member of the public as well as a former board member, to thank Mr. Abate and Mr. Cipriano for the efforts that they put out. Joe's been on 18 years, Jim's 6, and these gentlemen have given a lot of their time to try to get the board to walk straight and narrow sometime, and that's good. So thank you to both of you gentlemen. I had a couple of things that I wanted to give to the board. My daughter's going to walk them up because my knees are not good at them. I keep saying that, you know that, so I won't have to say that. The first thing I got, I'm going to give this to President Worth. There was some confusion about the time that the Fidelis was discussing taking dredge spoils. We have there a copy of a document stating May 23rd, 2011, which is not 4 or 5 years ago, but approximately a year and a half ago. So the record is straight. I wanted to give you that. That's a copy. I didn't write that and make it up. That was given to me. I also have a document which I gave Mr. Caruso a copy just before the meeting. I asked my daughter to do the walking again. The city was asked for a copy of their agreement with the McNeil Mansion, and they were unable to find the document that the president now has. And in this document, it says that one of the conditions of sale, one of the terms of sale, is that the McNeil Mansion should not be blown up and put townhouses there, but reconstructed and made into some of what it was before as part of our historic past. So I would hope that the board would examine that, and I believe that the city is getting ready to do some very quick demolition. Prior to the demolition, I would hope that the board would speak up and point this out. I have a question, which, as you said, no questions are answered, but I would like to know, just out of my own curiosity, since I am a candidate, who will be assigning the people to conduct the election?
Mary Ann has already made some phone calls.
Okay, I am going to say this, and this is not a point to run. Last year, there were some indiscretions, things that were not quite straightened out, was never brought up in a public session, although the board did speak of things in the closed session. I would hope that the people that controlled the board election last year are not the same ones that are going to control it this year. I think that there's a large number of people that have applied. There's some people who have been waiting on that list, I know, for 10 years that have never got called to serve the board in that capacity, and it might be good for the board to allow some other people to spread that around. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? I have one question, Mike.
Yes.
Is this document, is this resolution only 4 pages long? Because it seems to end rather abruptly on the 4th
I'll
page.
double check if see if Mr. Caruso has another page on there, because I got them both from, I made 2 copies.
I have 4 pages here, Nick.
2, 3, 4.
Number 40059 on the front.
Stops on number 15.
I believe that's all there is.
We're at page 15 upon passage of the deed.
Okay, thank you. And one more question. Where does this come from?
That was given to me. It was given to me.
So what's the point?
The point is that in the last meeting, it was said that Fidelis had nothing to do with the board for 4 or 5 years, and anybody said anything that, I think the BS term was used. This shows that Fidelis spoke with the mayor, and it says that the board would share the money if the board chose to sell the dredge spoils on the island.
Well, we know that, but did you say it was given to the mayor? Or is this a report?
That's not a report from me, that was given to the mayor.
How do we know that?
Because it was, I was told it was given to him. The person would like to not,
Okay, so it's hearsay, so to speak.
no, it's not hearsay. The person doesn't want his taxes to go
That's the
up,
point, I
his
understand.
reports to be
Well,
examined.
Yeah,
You know what happened.
well, Fidelis came to my office, so I know what happened. I know that he
In
spoke.
fact, I believe that Mr. Stevinich in his Fidelis file has a copy of that, so you might ask Rob for that.
Okay, I will.
And that would have everything else that you might need.
Oh, no, I know what it's
Okay.
about, I'm just curious where it came from.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, Sammy.
That's okay. Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sammy Cohen, 180 Riverbank. I was here last time, and there was some discussion, and I know Mr. Sonstein wanted to meet with me, and I thought that inappropriate or unethical, either before the board or not at all. Having said that, I spoke with Mary Worth last Tuesday.
Yeah,
Outside.
after city council.
Yeah, after council meeting. And we talked about some things, and I want to make sure that everybody understands. One thing I do want to ask, and I don't know if it's, I'm going to call Dow Burlington tomorrow. We discussed, one of the things we discussed was the scholarship grants. Scholarships, the money that you give to the kids. That's not part of the Dow grant that they put out. It's very specific, as I said last time, and now it's gotten competitive. I don't even know, we're the stepchild. Burlington is the stepchild, so I have to fight really hard to make sure all our T's are crossed and I's dotted. However, I believe that they give, and I think I said this to you, that they give scholarships. They do a lot more over there than they do here. Okay? Sorry to say.
Well, they're over there.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah. I think the term you used was frustrating. It is. But I'm going to make a call tomorrow. We don't have another meeting. We don't have a meeting this month. And I'm going to ask if they would like to be involved in supporting the grants for the board. They do it over there, and I don't know how much they do over there. I have no clue. But my question is, how much do you give in grants? I know you give a couple of them, and
Depends on how much money we raise.
Last year we did over 2,000.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
so if I went to them and said $2,500, and they came back with $2,000 or
Let's go with 5 and
something.
just come back with 2.
Well, yeah, I believe
I
you.
know,
It's, I can ask for $2,500. I don't know that that's going to be a problem. Not my money. I'll ask. I'll certainly ask. Another thing that we discussed is there in the past has been a list of 501c3s. When the grant goes out, it has been in the past by paper, then it went to computer. When you were a 501c3, you went on the computer, you typed in your 501c3 number, and if you were a valid 501c3, you got onto the grant application. Dow didn't do that first year. Last year, I told you they did that splitting it up thing. I don't know what they're going to do this year. I'll find out shortly. Forget my point with that. 5 minutes.
We're talking about the 501c, is that?
Yeah, the list. We talked about the list. When we talked about this at the last meeting. That comes to, I used to get the full list, 501c3s over there, the 501c3s here, and I would scour for anything new that was not on the list. Correct anybody's name, administrator, City Hall, I would give them a name, Robin Stockgrass. It goes to Robin Stockgrass, it goes to the administrator, it goes to the clerk. Didn't happen obviously last year. Your name is on that list. That's been done. So how you don't get that, if you don't, you need to let me know. And you need to let me know. Every year our membership list comes out. Sammy Cohen, NDMS-DMOR/CERT. They don't get it right. Every year, I don't know what it is for the stepchild. Sorry to say. Or whether they just redo it, I don't know. That is one thing that I watch. The third thing is, there was an incident at the last board meeting where there was someone that I sponsored to come to the meeting, first meeting. They went to the door and said, like this. They brought someone in. Now, it happened to be Lisa Foxpfeifer from the Burlington County Historical Society. Inappropriate. I got calls about it. As I said last time, you can't just walk into this meeting. If that happens again, the next meeting, you'll be asked to leave. And someone said to me, you sponsored that person? And they brought a guest the first time? I said, well, it was the library. So I kind of wore egg on my face, especially after saying that, and I want to make that very clear. I represent Burlington, regardless of what they do or how they raise my taxes or what they say. Keep my face to my back. Bottom line is, I want to see the money on the side of the river. Period. And I don't have kids, and I don't really care, but I want to see the money on the side.
If I may, Madam President, on that subject, the city has, for the past several years, received approximately $10,000 from
That
that.
was only this last year. The grant usually comes out, they've been switching the dates, sometime in the spring. It used to be that it was finalized by June. Well, they moved it up to April so that if there were any questions, we could go back and we could have it finalized by June, and then it would be announced in September. Who the recipient was, $30,000. Because we take the summer off. This past year, they didn't do that, and when I called, I said, we're going to have a grant or what? Well, we're going to do something in the fall. We got an email. What do you want to do? We're going to divide the money up, or how do you want to, we've had $30,000, we have to distribute it. It's like, this is September. We only have September and November meetings. Corporate, what can I tell you?
But money we received helped the after-school program for the children in Burlington.
$10,000, the way it finally shook out, was $10,000 to 501c3s, 10 on this side, Burlington, 10 to Bristol Borough, 10 to Bristol Township. And the 10 that this community got was for a project that was at the County Historical Society. If you had had a project and going forward, I would have known about it. Believe me. I hear this stuff, I watch it, I talk to people,
Madam President, I think it's important, because I go to these meetings with Sammy, for the board to know that
we're outnumbered.
Sammy is very outspoken on behalf of Burlington.
Why not?
But in addition to that,
Imagine that.
They are very interested over there in the island. They have a tremendous interest in that. So I think in a segue from what Sammy is sharing with us, if we had a program together, ASAP, and it was there, you'd have a good shot at getting some funds in the grant. The program could be
right.
for like a science fair of some kind, examining the things on the island, but they do it very well over there. Those
Science,
people have,
technology, engineering, math. The
Yeah,
science part of
STEM.
it, the archaeology part, that's what they're doing, archaeology.
yes. So, you know, this board could, if you have the opportunity to put a grant together, write a grant application and submit it as soon as possible. And I would request that when you submit this, you have some brochures and things like that to be competitive with the other people that are over there. So, thank
Thank
you,
you, Sammy.
Sandy, for all you do.
You're welcome. One other quick comment is, if I were you guys, I would go over and ask to speak at the Bristol Council. Talk to the mayor over there, because if you can't work something here, go to Bristol. And I'll make you bet Burlington will say, oh, well, what about us? And you know what? Then you're in the better seat. Because they've got a dock, they're close. Yeah, I mean, you know, fish or cut bait. And I think you've got some great ideas, great energy. But I don't know what's going on here. You know, if they don't want to do it, go over there.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Don,
Don Reinhardt, island worker.
you have to come closer, Don, because the mic isn't going to pick you up.
Don Reinhardt, island worker. Just want to let you know that had a chance from the Bristol side to see Burlington Island without any leaves on the trees, and you could visually see the eagle's nest. It's at least 6 feet across. It's huge. We're going to take telephoto pictures of it. Reason is because we want to hold up the city in any way if they're going to mess around with dredge spoils, and if they're going to do any defoliation of the land over there. The mayor had made a statement in the paper that he wants to put solar panels over there if possible. Problem with solar panels is he's not allowed to put it on Green Acres property. That's farmland preservation land. Of course, it's underneath of the dredge spoils, which is on top of an Indian burial ground. So you can see where this is going to go. But the pictures of the eagles will be important for our case. If he wants to try and defoliate our end of the island, then he's going to run into a problem also. Because here's a law that was passed in 2001, states the fact that for every tree that you remove, you're going to replace it. So it's going to get very costly for somebody real fast. I marked the part down there that states the fact where the law was passed.
Okay, thank you.
Don, let me ask, this article's a year old, is that correct?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Anyone else? Jamie?
Okay. In the past 2 decades, Jamie Zalot, 506 Locust Avenue. In the past 2 decades, the world has moved lightning fast. We've gone from corded phones to phones that you can pick up holding your hand. You run your whole life from these phones. And the board is not moving that fast. We've started to a little bit in the past couple of years. We've gone from taping the meetings to digital recording. But the board is a very old establishment. It's been around for 300 years, but we've got to pick up the pace. We have a Facebook page that's sitting there. It's not doing anything. There's ways that the board could use to modernize, and it's just not happening. And the board is on the brink of going out of existence. We're out of money. People don't want to be here. They see the meetings as argumentative and very aggressive when they watch them. We have people coming, people don't want to come anymore. It's just, they get very upset, they get very disgusted, and we're going to have to take a bitter pill. It's just, the city is disgusted with us, the citizens are disgusted. I know we raised money last year, but it's February. The scholarships, you got to start raising money now for scholarships. I don't think you're going to find as many people willing to give up money for scholarships because they really don't like the board. And you're elected to do something, we got to sit up and do something because the board is just going to be gone. It's going to be 6 months and there is going to be no Board of Island Managers. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
Sorry.
Oh,
When is that scholarship money given out?
it's given
I
out
talk to
at
them tomorrow. When do you need it by?
commencement.
Okay.
Well, no, we have to know before then. We have to know by May. The thing is, we're not gonna do what we did last year. You know, the people of this city have been very generous, but they're tapped. Every organization keeps asking the citizens and asking the businesses for money. So we've got to come up with some fundraisers at this point. I'm not sure if we can do a scholarship this year, but we've got to find another way without asking people to write us a check.
If they gave $2,500 to be distributed, what do you do in a month? A few?
Yeah, we had two $1,000 scholarships, and then last year, people got really generous. I think we ended up with either $2,500 or $2,600. So we gave a $1,000 scholarship and three $500 scholarships.
I know what they're gonna come back with. $2,500. Science, technology, that STEM thing, I just thought of this. I need a timeline. But if they give $2,500, can they specify to a science, technology, engineering, math?
Well, we were,
I
I
mean,
don't
they can
know.
change their major after they get to college,
I
but
would say you
If-
could, but I don't, you have to specify that when
We
we.
would have to, yeah, when we put out the applications, we have to specify that only people majoring in the STEM subjects are going to be eligible for the scholarship. Up until now, anyone has been allowed to apply for it. And to tell you the truth, most of this money goes to the kids who are going to the community college. They can't afford a four-year school at this point, and you know, so if they give us the money with that caveat, we're just going to have to limit who can apply for it.
when does your application go out?
The applications generally go out around end of March, early April. Now, we have the interviews at the May meeting. That whole meeting will be designated just for interviews for the applicants.
All right, let me see what I can find out.
Is there a definition of what STEM is? In other
Yeah,
words-
STEM is science,
I know, but
technology,
when you say
engineering,
science,
math.
what comes under the heading of science?
Any of the,
Like, well, I don't know, is music and art, or is it a
no,
science?
it's a science,
Science.
biology, chemistry.
Well, that's
Yes.
the point. I don't know that everybody on the board understands.
Oh, I see
All
what you're saying.
dependent upon your definition of the discipline, so.
Exactly. And that's what their
Well,
definition.
since they're a chemical company,
I got you.
You know, and it's a good point.
yeah, I mean, they may be more inclined if I give them some information that you need to put out an application in March. Can I request $2,500 from Dow to, be given to the board on behalf of a special, they do a lot of stuff over there, I'm telling you.
Sure.
Just volunteer from.
And, you know, I mean, and if they
sorry.
want to limit it to STEM majors, you know, fine, but just tell them that most of the kids who get these don't have any money, and they're not getting a lot of money anyway,
I don't think it's any different over there.
but,
No, it's not.
yeah, no, I know it's not, yeah.
Sammy, I'm curious, I asked you a question before, and I might have been taking it facetious. Is it advisable to go in and ask for more and settle for less?
That's
or-
why I'm doing 25 instead of 2, that's why,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
when I said 5,000, I
What
wasn't
if you ask for
joking.
5,000?
Would they come back with 25?
I'll go for 5.
Yeah,
I
ask
mean,
for 5.
ask what you think is comfortable, you don't
Because
scare them out of the box.
whatever we get for the scholarship fund will never be used for anything else.
They'll probably give it directly to, like, do a presentation kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna see if I can find out how much they give over there. They've always mentioned scholarships, I've never heard how much. I'm sorry, I'm way over my
I
mind.
will.
I have a thought. Technology would be considered video and film. Why not have a video, history of Burlington video contest instead of
Too late for this year.
the kids can do them most of the kids in the high school have cell phones. They could do, instead of doing an essay, do a video essay. And that fulfills technology.
I would say that's
Yeah,
not
but
a
then
bad
it's a
idea.
contest,
But present it, we
the
don't know.
judges, and that's.
But we're gonna
Well,
need
they
some.
do essays anyway. So instead of doing an essay, it's a video essay.
$5,000.
Yeah, we're gonna have, we're gonna have to have some kind of presentation to do that, but we're getting a little bit off here. So,
Good idea, but
Joe,
If I can just close with, the application process would be enhanced if the board had printed material that stresses our 330-year history of having helped the education of the poor. They're very interested in the kids over there, and if you're applying for a grant or a fund, there's no other applicant in the couple of years that I've been on there has the credentials of this board with its 330-year history. So there may be some of the old brochures
we have some.
around that you can make available to Sammy or someone on the board's got to put a little packet together and enable her to have this information.
Get you some
call him.
literature.
Let me call him tomorrow. Let me start there. I'll start with $5,000. Do my best.
Okay.
great.
Know that it's stacked against me, but look, if they do it over there,
You know what, they can always say no.
Yep.
So we got nothing to lose. Thank you very much.
That's great, thanks.
Okay, anyone else, public portion? Okay, we will move on to an election update, Mary Ann.
Okay, we're on, we just pulled the names at the city council meeting last Tuesday for the positions on the ballot. This is a sample, oh, the ballot looks like. Position number 1 was Jamie Zaylot, position number 2 was Mike Zaylot, and position number 3 was Nick Teresa.
I'll miss that last spot.
What's that?
I'll miss the last spot, the last 5 elections, I was dead last.
I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
The ballot's basically set up the same way it was last
It's
year.
exactly the same way as it was last year.
One of the confusing things I remember from previous elections is one of the individuals that ran the election indicated you had to have a check mark or something. And there was a line there, but I don't know if there's lots to tell them.
Please clearly mark your choices with an
Okay.
X or a check mark. Problem is with voters,
They don't read it.
they don't read.
They don't read
It
it.
doesn't matter what
Can I
you
see
put
that,
on
please?
there.
They just go in there and start hacking.
Mary Ann, could you give everybody a copy of that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can email.
Okay, yeah, just email everybody a copy.
A question that I had, I don't know if anybody remembers how many people voted. I want to make sure that the typical 400 number is a good number for how many ballots to have at the community.
240.
We had 240 last year?
You can ask Tony probably how many ballots she had on
I
hand.
thought it was just about 240.
Okay.
a little more, but that's about, 300.
Yeah, Tony probably actually has a
She
number.
had X amount over at the county and X amount here, so she'll know that numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, the county gets 200 and then we have 400 for the.
And then if they need more, they'll call you and ask. Okay.
Okay.
Motion to take a 5-10 minute break.
Was she done with her election update?
No,
Yeah, it's-
she is.
Yeah, unless anybody has any
Does
questions.
the second set of notices have to go in or they went in?
They go in later,
Okay.
the end of March.
Okay.
The public notice goes in this next week and a half coming
Okay.
up, and then the posted in
As long
places
as we make the deadlines, that's all.
Yeah, no, I'm being very good.
Madam President,
Yes.
may I ask who has been contacted and if we have any responses regarding election workers?
Yes. I have contacted the same ones. Sheila Powell has agreed. Leo Kamosh has not called me back yet. And Debbie Dubell, who worked last year, was was interested in leaving.
Madam President, if I may, um, the only problem I have with any one of those individuals is Sheila Powell. I've always stated myself pretty plainly. I have no personal problem with Sheila Powell. Never had a problem with Sheila Powell in all the years I met her over there at the Smith School when I voted. But I would like the board to reconsider her duties this year because of the problems unearthed by several individuals in the last election. I don't want to get in a contest here. I just want there were some irregularities brought forth, and I think that the election process should be above board, and I think we should reconsider her services.
Well, Mike, the county election board, Jim, the county election board found no evidence to pursue that. So, if the election board, I would think that if the election board had thought it necessary to investigate it and had then investigated it and found that there had been any wrongdoing, she would no longer be eligible to be doing this.
If I recall correctly, Madam President, I think they went back and forth between several different entities, and they finally decided that it was our problem and our investigation to handle, and nothing was done. I think was the final outcome. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there was no decision from the county election board. If I can, Madam President, I think what you're faced with here is an opportunity, and certainly no criticism at all towards Sheila Powell, who has served very well. What the opportunity is to take someone like Sheila Powell and give her the opportunity to share that experience with another individual. It's very much like this board. You have to take what you know and let somebody else know how to do it. If the same person does the same thing time after time, then you're not going to have another person positioned to move in.
Well, that's
So,
the problem, Joe, is she's already been asked.
no, I'm not saying,
And if we
what
were
I'm saying
going,
is
we-
she could do
we're a
something
little-
and teach that person to do what she did. If I may, back in my younger years, I made pizzas. Well, I had to teach somebody else how to make the pizzas, but somebody taught me. If nobody teaches anybody, at some point, you're in a bad position. So have Sheila, if I can, the board do what they want. I'm not on the ballot. have Sheila take one of these other individuals, Leo or Debbie, is it? And maybe have that person be, there's a title to the person who runs the election or something, right? It seems like a manager of some kind, because she's the one that pulls the ballots out. She seems to have that. All I'm saying is ask her to teach another person. We're in an educational board here. We follow the Board of Education rules. A simple request, it shouldn't be offensive, that she share what she knows with another person and not do that same job. Sit close by so you can train that person. And I think that's...
So are you suggesting that, so you're suggesting that we have her sitting there, don't pay her,
No, I never said that.
or are you suggesting that we hire an additional person?
Never said that either. Let me be clear on this. I think you could be offensive to an individual that's already been contacted. I would feel offended. If you contact me, then you say, well, no, I don't want you.
Well, no, we're going to...
Well, the same, you have an opportunity to respect that individual and say what you know needs to be shared. You're working for us. We want you to sit alongside of either Leo or Debbie, and we want those individuals to learn what you do.
That's fine, we can arrange to do that during this election.
That's just a transition, and then the following year, either Leo or Debbie is going to know more than what they did the year before. So, is that how many workers we had there? 3?
3.
It was 3.
We always have 3.
And they covered the whole city, right, with all the books and everything. Was there? Yeah. So I just think it would be advisable to let another person kind of handle that stuff, and learn it.
Well, we can certainly, ask her to, help them learn how to do this, but, we're not gonna tell her to sit back and not do anything.
They're basically all doing the same
They're all
thing.
doing the same
She's
thing.
just
I
more
know
or less
they
the
are.
boss. For years, B. Stilts ran that election.
Yes.
Had B. Stilts not moved,
Yes.
she would still be running that election.
It is-
Sheila has agreed to do it. I don't see any problems. Everything last year were false allegations that weren't proven. Sheila works for the county at Smith School, has for years and years and years. If she was doing things that were inappropriate, they would have got rid of her a long
I think
time.
if you ask her nicely to show somebody this year and train.
I'm sure she does speak
She-
with
she-
them. I'm sure they could do the same
she's
thing.
doing it, I think.
I'm sure that they could do just what she does. They all do basically the same thing. They're checking the books. She just keeps law and order in the room. And if some people don't like law and order, that's too bad. If you get out of order in that room, Sheila will throw you out.
See,
It's that
she
simple.
has the
And that's
about
her
what's right and
authority.
wrong.
She's running the show. Exactly.
So somebody else, I think, would be wise to be trained by that person.
Motion for a 5-10 minute break.
All right, Murray has made a motion for a
I'll second
5-minute
it.
break. Second on the question? All in favor? Opposed? Okay.